Boy, I played, 35 hours this week in video games. In 7 days at 35 hours. That's what? That's like 5 hours a day? Holy smokes, man. What is going on with me? I'm not even playing. I actually didn't play that many hours this week. But there are some people that play 40, 60, even 80 hours a week. Maybe even more. I don't know. What are the pros and cons to that? So this week at Guff Stuff Weekly Podcast, we are going to be talking about that, or I am. I have no partners this week, so it's just me. And I want to talk about the pros and cons of gaming that hardcore. Whether you're doing it with friends or whether you're doing it alone, it really doesn't make any difference. I think there's some key cultural difference gaming or issues that are positive, some positive and some negative. But there's definitely some cultural issues that pop up when you are, or some issues that pop up when you are playing alone that much. So let's talk about them. One, man, the gamers I know, most of them are working adults and they're doing fine with their lives. They're out there making money. They're doing this. So to start off with, I'm not going to say that gaming is just one of those people that, the poor people that live in their mom's basement type things. I don't think that's true. I think most gamers aren't that kind of person. At least not the ones I know. I'm sure there's plenty of them out there that are, but we're not going to talk about those guys today. Well, we can't. Well, it'll be bundled in. I think what we'll do is we'll talk about some of the cons to begin with. Maybe the pro. Well, let's talk about some of the pros because let's start this off on a little lighter subject. What are the pros of playing lots of video games? Well, I would say that playing a lot of video games is one of the pros to that is one. Your typical teenager or young adult is not out causing trouble out in the wild. They're not out, maybe in street gangs or doing drugs or something. Because if you're gaming that much, you don't have time to do the other stuff, right? And so I think that might be a pro. There's actually not a lot of pros that I'm going to be able to come up with here. So the other pro would be is the gamers that I have met that play a lot of games generally are pretty they're pretty smart people, and they seem to have their reasoning skills fairly well done. Now, I don't think that their social skills are that good because you're gaming a lot like that, and I think you lack on some social skills a little bit. But again, that's part of the cons, and we're going to go over that after a little bit. So pros. You're helping the industry keep alive by playing that much, and if you happen to be doing it for a living, like on Twitch or YouTube or Facebook or any of the other platforms that are out there for streaming, thank you, because I enjoy watching the content and I enjoy learning about the games. So I guess that's a pro. You can make a living doing it. That's huge. 20 or 30 years ago, you wouldn't dream about that. That's not even an option, right? So now that you can make a living. And especially if you're an introvert and you don't like people and you're not interested in going out and meeting people, hey, you know what? Awesome for you to find something that you can make a living at. And not everybody's making a living at gaming, obviously. But if you can, awesome for you. So yeah. I don't know. There's not really that many pros. I mean, if you guys can come up with some good pros, man, send them my way. I'd like to think about this a little more. I've been thinking about it all week. But there's just very few pros to the whole 40 to 60 hours of gaming weeks, I mean, I'd like to think when I was doing it, part of the pros one, I was a stay-at-home parent. Yes, I was a stay-at-home father. My wife was in the service, so I did stay home, but I spent a lot of time with my kids. Necessarily playing wasn't necessarily interacting with the PC or the Xbox constantly. It was just I had access to that, and I did play a lot. Most of my long hours were, of course, at night when my daughter was sleeping or my babies were sleeping, and I have to get them up in the middle of the night and feed them, or they wake up and they're hungry or they want to go take a nap with daddy or whatever it was, or mommy or whoever. Yeah, it was get up, go play some game for a bit while I'm feeding the baby, whatever. So it's just I don't know. Is that a pro? I don't know. It's kind of a controversial subject because there's really not a lot of pros. But I'm just going to use that one as a pro. That I got to entertain myself. it's cheap entertainment, man. Playing a PC game or a video game is cheap entertainment as far as that goes. So you're not spending tons of extra money on extra stuff. Anything else you're doing that's going to cost will cost. Whew, excuse me. We'll have a lot of residual income costs, and that can be bad. Like if you're even RC cars, you break in stuff, you have to buy new parts. Yeah, in video games, you buy new video games. There's lots of times you get away with a few video games that you can play for many, many hours. So, I mean, you don't have to have a huge budget to do that. There's a little upfront budget to buy the console or the PC to do so, but so I guess that's a pro. The pro is it's not very expensive to do. I had to have a drink there. I don't know. We'll go back over pros when I can think of them. But one of the we're going to talk about some cons. One, dude, you're indoors all the time playing games. Like, even if you're like playing Pokemon Go and stuff, you're just playing games. You're focusing on that. The rest of the world doesn't really matter. If you are playing with friends, you've got a little bit of interaction going on there, and that does kind of matter a little bit. But for the most part, frankly, the rest of the world just doesn't matter. I know that when I was hardcore playing before my kids, it was me and whoever I was playing with, and that was it. That's all that mattered, You could play 10 hours, of one game, and I'm making some developer rich, and I'm not doing anything with my life. There are days I go back and I go, oh man, I wish I would have maybe paid a little more attention and maybe grown my empire, my business a little bit, and worked on that a little bit back then. But no, I did not. So here I am. I'm making podcasts in my almost 50 years old, and really have no serious good direction of what I'm doing, right? So it's okay though. I enjoy it. I'm not I'm not upset about how my life has turned out. I'm just saying that this is something you have to think about if you're going to be one of these guys or girls, one of these gamers. We'll just say gamers in general. Second thing is, because you got your face in that screen the whole time, you're not socializing with humans. Like, and I know that was kind of goes in with the first one. The big thing is guys are just not out looking for girls. Like, and girls are not just out looking for guys, especially if you're a gamer girl. You're probably not out looking for a dude. It's the biggest downfall of that industry is if you get, and I say it's primarily dominated by men, because men are generally the ones who are the most, like, in that genre. In that genre, not the genre, but that play style. That hundreds of hours and, many hours of just hardcore gaming, sleep, wake up game, work, sleep, wake up game. That's generally a dude thing. And it makes, it's a culture, it's a kind of like the raw culture thing. If you're out there just playing video games, you're not out there trying to meet the woman of your life. You're not out there trying to go on dates. You're getting to be, every day you're doing that, you're getting to be less and less likely to want to do that because you found a void. Maybe that doesn't satisfy that need of that companionship, but is okay enough to make it so you don't feel like you have to go out and do it. There's always tomorrow, right? And then maybe after I beat this game, then I'll start trying to date, or I'll task this person on a date. It's very sad. You can see it everywhere in the world. Guys are being frowned upon, and it doesn't help that, in the world, society is making men look weak, and we're not helping by playing video games as much as we do, right? So yeah, it just kind of breaks me up a little bit inside because I want to see young men go out and grow to be old men, and old men with companions, and I would like to hope that we could see that more often. But anyway, it's one of those things that just, you gotta, I don't know, it's like a hindsight thing. It's a wisdom thing with age that I've seen. And I wish that, in my years that I did play a lot of video games, although the years I did play a lot of video games, I was already married, and my wife and I both played video games together. So there is that. But And my son, he's not married. Excuse me, Thursdays. Whoa, tough days for me. He's not married right now, but he's in a relationship, and it's okay with, they have that figured out. So you can do it. You can play lots of video games. You can go out and still interact with the world. But I see a lot of guys not doing that, and finding excuses not to do it is just not right. That's the wrong way to go about it. You need to interact with other humans. I mean, imagine say you're 20 to 30 years old right now, and you're out playing video games all the time, and you're not out dating, and you're not out interacting with other people on a regular basis in that situation. What happens when you hit 40 or 50 or 60, 70? Your family members, your older family members, your mom, your dad, maybe your brothers and sisters, your aunts and uncles, they're all starting to get old. They're all starting to pass away. You don't have any family, and that hurts everything in turn. I don't know. It's just, anyway, that's a big con to being a hardcore gamer. You can do it, but what I recommend, I would recommend getting a significant other in your life, and then if you two just want to be video gamers, that's perfectly cool. Some people want to work on farms. Some people want to go with thrift shopping. Some people want to go to auctions. Some people want to go travel the world. Some people want to boat. There's all kinds of things people want to do. But that's the key, is people. It means multiples, right? Sadly, video games, which we did a podcast on here not that long ago, playing alone or playing with a group. Video games make it very easy for you to be alone. And that's a scary place to be if, and maybe not initially because you're playing video games, but those moments where the internet's down, or you're moving, or you transfer jobs or whatever. That's just a dang scary place to go. And I don't wish that upon anybody. It's not, I don't know. I guess I'm rambling a lot in this one. I just think that that's a big con. The other big cons are if you're playing video games, you're not trying to grow yourself spiritually, mentally, physically. I mean, what happens. I don't need to explain it. Nobody listening to this is going to be accused of being dumb. You're not out there working on yourself to improve yourself, then it's just not good. You can do it all. I promise you. I'm not the physical specimen I should be, but mentally, spiritually, I'm pretty set, I'm physically, I may be a big guy, but I'm not like in pain all the time. I'm not crippled. I'm not walking around with a cane. I'm 50 years old, whatever, but I'm not like beat up, right? I'm not a beat up 50. So I think for the most part, I'm doing okay. But yeah, the rest of it is, I think there's a lot of things going on there that people are missing out on. And I don't want people to miss out on this stuff, but they are. And it's sad. It's really sad. I don't know. I wish that there was ways to do both, to be able to say, I'm going to play 20 hours of video games a day, and then I can sleep, and then I can go hang out with my friends, and then come home and play again. And you can do that, but you just gotta kind of chill the number of hours out. Maybe not 40 hours a week. Cut it down to 20 hours a week. Try that. 4 hours a day. It's a lot of time. Usually my game time is like right before I go to bed. Before me and my wife go to bed, and we watch a little bit of TV. I'll be like, I'll get home at say 6-ish, eat dinner, 7:30, whatever. Get done with that, and then we start playing video games for about 3-4 hours as a family usually. And sometimes with my son, sometimes with my daughter, sometimes it's just me and my wife, sometimes we're playing separate games, but we're always in the same room, we're always playing together. That would be a recommendation. If you find that you're playing by yourself a lot and you're not living alone, move your PC out to the public room. I know you don't want your mom to see all your games, or your dad to see all your games if you're living at home, or your roommates, whatever. But man, get into that social situation so you can hang out with them. That would be a huge deal. It improves your quality of life a little bit, in my opinion. And yeah, so anyhow, I think I'm going to cut this one short. I think that if I ramble about this too long, one, I'm going to get more yawning because I'm really tired today. And two, I'm just gonna say stuff and irritate people, and I'm not really looking forward to doing that. I just really wanted to point out that there aren't many pros. There's a lot of cons, and the big cons are really bad. You know, yeah, you're just spending a ton of time alone and not focusing on being human and improving yourself, whether it's through dating or work or spiritualness or any of the other stuff that goes along with it. And so before you guys sign off, just think about this stuff. Think about the pros and cons, maybe in your own life. And until next time, my name's Scott. You call me Guff.